Ladies and gentlemen, when life throws challenges at us, most people panic, some complain, and a few rise like leaders. What makes those few different? It is not that they have superpowers or unlimited resources. They just think differently. They do not react, they respond. They do not escape, they engage. Solving problems like a leader does not require a title. It requires a mindset, and every single one of us has the ability to build that mindset, even when the world feels heavy and uncertain. Leaders pause before reacting. They seek clarity, not control. This sounds simple, but in real life, it is one of the hardest things to do. When something goes wrong, our first instinct is to react, get angry, panic, find someone to blame. Fix it immediately, but a true leader pauses. They do not allow the problem to pull them into chaos. They take a deep breath and ask, what is really going on here? That pause is not weakness, it is wisdom. In that moment of pause, a leader does not focus on controlling everything. They focus on understanding it. They ask questions not to blame but to learn. Where did this start? What patterns are we repeating? What are we missing? These questions come from a place of curiosity, not fear. And curiosity opens doors that control cannot. The need to control is often rooted in fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of uncertainty. But a leader knows that control is not the solution to fear. Clarity is. When you see the full picture, when you understand all sides, you make better choices. And better choices lead to better outcomes. Let us imagine a workplace crisis. A deadline was missed, a client is upset, and tensions are high. A boss might come in and start shouting, micromanaging, demanding reports. But a leader, they step in, stay calm, and gather the facts. They do not jump to conclusions. They ask everyone involved what happened. They listen. They create an atmosphere where people can speak honestly without fear. And through that, they find out the real reason behind the failure. Maybe it was a miscommunication. Maybe someone was silently struggling. Maybe the system was flawed. That is the power of clarity. It does not just solve the problem, it prevents the next one. Because when you pause, you notice things others miss. You see the human side. You spot the real need. And you make decisions not based on pressure, but on perspective. Also, when a leader pauses, others feel safe. People are not afraid of being punished for mistakes. They know their voice matters, and that builds trust. In a team, trust is everything. Without it, people hide their problems until they explode. With it, they bring problems forward early, while they are still small, still solvable. Another reason why the pause matters, it protects your energy. Leaders often carry emotional weight from their own lives and from others. If you react to everything, you burn out. But if you pause, you give yourself space, space to think, space to reflect, space to respond with intention, not impulse. In families too, this applies. When a child messes up, the easiest thing is to scold. But if the parent pauses, listens, and speaks with understanding, the child learns more. They feel seen, not attacked. That is leadership. And you do not need to be in charge of a team to show it. You can lead with clarity in your home, your community, even in conflict with yourself. This habit of pausing takes practice. It does not come overnight, but every time you choose to respond instead of react, you are building your leadership muscle. Every time you breathe before speaking, every time you ask before judging, you are creating space for wisdom to enter. And that space, that silent pause, is where real leadership begins. They do not rush to fix, they listen deeply first. This is the kind of wisdom that looks soft on the outside, but carries the strength to move mountains. In a world where speed is praised and urgency is worn like a badge of honor, it takes real courage to slow down. When things go wrong, people expect immediate action, immediate answers. But real leaders know that trying to fix something before understanding it only makes things worse. They choose to listen, not to reply, but to really hear, and that changes everything. Listening deeply means letting go of the need to be right. It means sitting with discomfort, with silence, with words that might hurt, and still staying present. Leaders know that solutions built on assumptions are fragile, but solutions built on truth, the kind of truth that only comes out when someone feels heard, those are solid. Listening opens doors that no amount of talking can. When a problem arises, most people want to jump in, offer advice, assign blame, or fix the visible part of the issue. But a leader asks, "Can you tell me what happened?" and then stays quiet. They give the other person space to speak without rushing them. They do not interrupt, they do not fill the silence, they make eye contact, they nod, they allow the other person to feel safe enough to be honest. That level of listening is rare, but it is also where the real story comes out. Think about the times you were in pain or confused or scared. Did you want someone to fix everything in a hurry? Or did you want someone to just sit with you, understand you, make you feel less alone? Leaders do that for others. They understand that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply be there. With full attention, no judgment, no agenda, just presence. This kind of listening builds trust faster than any solution ever could. Because once people feel heard, they soften, their defenses drop, they start participating in the solution instead of resisting it. They feel valued, not managed, and people who feel valued become stronger. They rise, they take ownership. They solve problems with you, not against you. In work, this might look like a manager who calls a team member into the office not to demand results, but to ask, "How are you feeling about this project?" In relationships, it looks like a partner who says, "I want to understand your side," instead of jumping in with counter-arguments. And in communities, it means letting people tell their stories before designing policies to help them. Deep listening is what turns reaction into resolution. Also, when leaders listen, they learn things they did not expect. People often carry invisible burdens, stress, fear, self-doubt, shame, that are not obvious until someone gives them space. A leader listens between the words. They notice the tone, the hesitation, the silence. They pay attention to what is not being said. That is how they spot problems before they grow. That is how they prevent crises before they happen. Listening is not about being passive. It is an active choice. It takes energy, patience, and emotional strength. It is easier to react, to speak, to fix, but a leader resists that impulse. They wait, they absorb. And then they move. Their solutions are not fast, but they are right. Not perfect, but grounded. They do not need to be the loudest in the room because they have already heard what matters. When people feel truly listened to, they change, they stand taller, they feel seen, and when a leader listens deeply, they do not just solve a problem, they heal a person. That healing becomes the foundation for stronger conversations, healthier decisions, and better results. It all starts with the courage to be quiet long enough to really hear what is being said underneath the noise. Leaders take ownership even when it is hard. It is easy to take credit when things go well. Everyone wants to be associated with success. But when mistakes happen, when things break, when plans fall apart, that is where real leadership is tested. Most people step back in those moments. They point fingers, shift blame, or disappear into silence. But a leader steps forward, not because they caused the problem, but because they care enough to be part of the solution. They say, "This happened on my watch, I will help make it right." That sentence carries weight, that attitude builds respect. Taking ownership does not mean taking the fall for everyone else. It means accepting your role, whatever it was, in what happened. It means asking, "What could I have done better?" without defensiveness. It means being willing to look in the mirror and face the truth, even when it is uncomfortable. Leaders are not afraid of that discomfort. They know growth lives there. Owning your part in a problem gives you power. When you take responsibility, you take control of your next step. You are no longer stuck waiting for someone else to fix things. You move forward, you learn, you adjust. That is how leaders keep growing, not by pretending they never mess up, but by making every mistake a lesson, not a label. Sometimes taking ownership is simply saying, I hear you, I did not get it right, let me understand what went wrong. Those few words can melt walls of frustration. Because people are not always angry about the mistake. They are angry when no one owns it. When leaders own the problem, it makes space for repair, for honesty, for rebuilding trust. And trust is what holds teams, families, and communities together when everything else is shaking. In workplaces, this looks like a team leader who does not throw an intern under the bus when a deadline is missed. It looks like a manager who tells a client, that mistake happened on our side, we will make it right. It looks like someone choosing to face the conversation that most people avoid. Leaders do not hide behind excuses. They step in front of them. In life, it might mean apologizing for words that hurt someone. It might mean owning the way your absence affected a friend or a child. It might mean saying, I was overwhelmed, but that does not excuse how I reacted. These moments are hard, but they build something stronger than pride. They build credibility, and people follow leaders they can believe. There is also another layer to ownership. It is not just about mistakes. It is about outcomes. Leaders do not wait for others to take initiative. They see a gap, a need, a broken system, and they step in, even when it is not their job, even when no one asked them to. Ownership is a mindset. It says, if I see it, I care about it, and if I care, I act. This kind of mindset spreads. When one person starts taking ownership, others follow. It sets a tone. It changes a culture. Instead of a group of people waiting for permission, you get a team of people solving things together. That is how progress happens, not from titles, but from people who are willing to say, this matters, I will help fix it. Taking ownership also means staying with the problem until it is resolved. Not walking away when it gets messy, not stepping back when things take longer than expected. Leaders stay in the room. They follow through. They do not just want to be seen doing the right thing, they actually want to do it, from start to finish. That consistency builds something deeper than just reputation. It builds trust that lasts even through failure, even through challenge. And trust, once earned through ownership, becomes the quiet strength behind every solution that works. They create safe space for others to speak and contribute. A leader knows that silence in the room does not always mean peace. Sometimes it means fear. Sometimes it means people have ideas but are too afraid to share them. Sometimes it means voices have been shut down for so long, they stopped trying. Real leadership is not just about talking. It is about listening in a way that invites others to speak. It is about making people feel that their words matter, that their presence matters, that their opinion can shape the outcome. Creating a safe space begins with presence. The way a leader walks into the room, the way they look at people, the way they respond to a small suggestion, all of it sends a message. Are you safe to speak here, or will you be judged, ignored, laughed at, or shut down? Leaders are aware of that invisible question in every room, and they answer it with kindness, with patience, with curiosity. They welcome ideas, even the awkward ones. They do not mock questions. They do not roll their eyes at wrong answers. They make space for people to grow, not just perform. When people feel safe, they speak, and when they speak, problems get solved faster. A junior team member might notice something others missed. A shy student might have a new way of looking at a situation. A frustrated employee might carry insight that no one else had the courage to share. But none of that will come out unless someone makes it safe to say it. Leaders unlock that potential by showing people that their voice is not just tolerated, it is needed. This does not happen by accident. Leaders build this kind of space on purpose. They pay attention to who gets interrupted and who never speaks. They make sure meetings are not dominated by the same voices. They ask people directly, "What do you think?" not as a formality, but as an invitation. And when people do speak, leaders listen without checking their phones, without rushing them, without jumping in to correct them. That kind of attention is rare, and it makes people brave. Leaders also understand that safety does not mean avoiding hard topics. It means creating an atmosphere where hard things can be said without fear of punishment. People need to be able to give feedback, challenge decisions, ask difficult questions, and raise concerns. If they cannot, the team becomes a group of yes people, and nothing kills progress faster than a room full of people afraid to speak the truth. Safe space is not soft space. It is strong enough to hold honesty. Creating that space also means admitting when you are wrong. Leaders model vulnerability. They say, "I do not know," or "I made a mistake," or "help me understand." When others see that even the leader is willing to learn, they feel more comfortable being honest too. The culture shifts from performance to authenticity, from ego to growth. Leaders do not confuse quiet with agreement. They know that silence can mean discomfort, not trust, so they create moments to check in. They build one-on-one conversations. They use anonymous ways to gather feedback if needed. They go out of their way to reach the ones who have been sitting on the edge, hesitant to speak. They pull those voices in gently, with care. In families, creating safe space means letting a child express feelings without fear of being scolded. In friendships, it means listening when someone says they are struggling instead of brushing it off. In workplaces, it means choosing to hear the unpopular opinion because it might be the one that saves the project. A leader makes every voice feel seen, not just the loudest one. That kind of space changes everything. People feel empowered, they show up differently. They start thinking not just about surviving the day, but about improving it. And once people feel safe to speak, they start contributing ideas that no one else could have thought of alone. Leaders stay calm in chaos. They regulate, not escalate. When everything feels like it is falling apart, people look around for someone who is not panicking. Someone who is not shouting, blaming, or losing control. They search for a steady hand, a calm presence, a voice that sounds like it believes there is still a way forward. That person becomes the anchor. That person becomes the leader. Staying calm in moments of chaos is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about choosing your response carefully so others can breathe. Chaos has a way of amplifying everything. Small problems feel big, emotions run high, fear spreads quickly. In those moments, people do not remember every word you say, but they remember how you made them feel. A leader who stays grounded gives others permission to do the same. They show that panic is not the only option. They show that control starts from within. Calm leaders are not born that way. They train for it. They build emotional discipline like a muscle. They learn how to breathe when the room is tense. They learn how to hold silence when others are shouting. They learn how to slow down their speech when everything around them is rushing. It is a skill, one that takes time, awareness, and practice. But it pays off in every crisis. When a leader remains calm, they are able to see more clearly. Emotions do not cloud their thinking. They do not jump to conclusions. They ask better questions. They make smarter decisions. This kind of clarity cannot exist in a mind full of panic. Calm is not passive. It is active. It is the ability to pause and choose, not just react. That pause is what keeps the chaos from becoming destruction. Staying calm also protects relationships. In moments of stress, it is easy to lash out, say things you do not mean, break trust that took years to build. But a calm leader knows that every word counts in a crisis. They speak slowly. They stay respectful. They do not let pressure become an excuse to hurt others. That level of emotional maturity earns deep respect. It sets the tone for the entire team. There is something deeply human about needing to feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally. And in chaos, people feel unsafe. A leader's calm is like a lighthouse in a storm. It helps people find their way back to stability. It reminds them that even when everything feels uncertain, they are not alone. That sense of safety is not a small thing, it is everything. Calm leaders are also better at de-escalating conflict. They do not pour fuel on the fire. They do not respond to anger with more anger. Instead, they soften the situation. They lower their voice. They validate emotions without agreeing with negativity. They choose words that open doors instead of closing them. And in doing so, they help others calm down too. Being calm does not mean you have all the answers. It means you are willing to hold the space until they appear. It means you are not afraid of silence. You are not controlled by fear. You are strong enough to stay steady when others wobble. That is leadership. This kind of calmness is especially important in roles that involve decision making, caregiving, or guiding others. Parents, teachers, team leads, doctors, they all face moments where people look to them for direction. If they bring panic into the room, it spreads like smoke, but if they bring calm, it clears the air. People feel it even if they cannot explain it. Calm is contagious, just like panic, and a leader gets to choose which one they pass on. They prioritize solutions over blame. When something breaks, when plans fail, or when expectations are not met, the most common human response is to find out who is responsible. People look around and point fingers. They want someone to carry the weight of the mistake, but a leader takes a different path. They ask, "What can we do now?" instead of "Whose fault is this?" because they understand that blame may satisfy emotion, but it does not solve the problem. Solutions move things forward. Blame just keeps people stuck in the past. Blame is loud. It fills rooms with tension. It makes people defensive. It shuts down creativity. In contrast, solutions create movement. They open up possibilities. They bring people together. When a leader walks into a situation and shifts the focus from who to how, they change the entire energy of the room. People stop hiding. They start thinking. They stop protecting themselves and start contributing ideas. That shift is subtle but powerful. Leaders who focus on solutions do not ignore what went wrong. They do not pretend there was no mistake. But they treat mistakes as information, not ammunition. They use them to learn, not to punish. They ask questions like, "What can we learn from this? How can we make sure this doesn't happen again? What are the next steps to fix this?" That kind of thinking turns even the worst situations into growth opportunities. Blame creates fear. When people know they will be blamed, they stop taking risks. They play small. They keep quiet when something feels off. But when people know their leader will focus on solutions, they become more honest. They report problems early. They suggest improvements. They take ownership. That culture of safety leads to better outcomes, more trust, and stronger teams. In workplaces, this might look like a team that misses a deadline. Instead of calling a meeting to scold everyone, the leader asks, "What barriers slowed us down? What support do you need next time? What can we fix in our system?" That approach gets results faster. It keeps morale intact. It builds loyalty. People remember how you treat them when they fail, and that memory shapes how they show up when it counts. In families, prioritizing solutions looks like choosing to understand instead of accusing. When a child makes a mistake, the parent who says, "Let's figure out how to fix this together," teaches responsibility, but the parent who says, "I told you so," only teaches shame. Leaders understand that shame might control behavior in the short term, but it damages confidence in the long run. Leaders also model this mindset publicly. When they make mistakes, They do not waste time defending themselves. They say, yes, that was wrong, here's what I'm doing to correct it. That humility sets a standard. It shows others that mistakes are not the end of the road. They are a part of the journey. What matters is what you do next. Prioritizing solutions also creates momentum. It keeps people moving even when they are discouraged. A team focused on blame circles the same problem again and again. But a team focused on solutions moves on. They experiment, they collaborate, they adapt. That energy of movement is what keeps progress alive, even in difficult seasons. Blame focuses on the past, solutions build the future, leaders know which one deserves more of their time. They teach others to ask better questions. Instead of, why did you do that? They ask, what can we do now? That question opens the door to responsibility, growth, and possibility. It invites everyone in, and it reminds people that they are part of the answer, not just part of the problem. That is the kind of mindset that builds strong teams, strong families, and strong communities. Because in the end, it is not about proving who is right, it is about doing what is right. And solutions will always carry more power than blame. Leaders are emotionally intelligent, they read the room before they move. It is not always about what is being said, but about what is being felt. A leader does not just listen to words, they pay attention to body language, tone, silence, and tension. They notice who is quiet, who is restless, who is disengaged. They notice what kind of energy is in the space. Is the team tired? Is someone holding back tears? Is there tension that no one is naming? Reading the room means sensing these unspoken things before taking action, before delivering criticism, before making big decisions. Emotional intelligence is not about being soft, it is about being smart with your emotions and sensitive to others. It means knowing how your mood affects the people around you. It means being aware that your words can either lift people or shut them down. A leader who is emotionally intelligent takes responsibility for the emotional temperature they bring into the space. They know that walking in with frustration or impatience can create pressure that makes people freeze. But walking in with empathy and calm can shift even the most anxious room into a place where people can think clearly again. People do not always remember what you said, but they remember how you made them feel. And in leadership, how people feel around you determines how much they will trust you, how open they will be, and how far they will go with you. Emotional intelligence helps you build that connection. It helps you show people that you see them, not just their work, but their emotional reality too. Reading the room also means knowing when to speak and when to wait. Sometimes a leader has a long list of things to say, but the room is not ready to hear it. Maybe people are overwhelmed, maybe there is grief in the air, maybe morale is low. An emotionally intelligent leader senses that, puts the list aside, and addresses the emotional truth first. They ask, how are you all doing? Not just as a formality, but because they actually want to know. That moment of emotional presence can restore trust faster than any motivational speech. It is also about regulating your own emotions. Leaders are human, and they feel stress, disappointment, and anger like anyone else. But emotional intelligence helps them respond, not react. It helps them pause before they lash out. It helps them understand why something triggered them. It helps them process privately before communicating publicly. That emotional control builds respect. It shows others that emotions are not bad, they just need to be managed wisely. In teams, emotional intelligence prevents misunderstandings. A leader who reads the room will notice if a team member is unusually quiet after a meeting. They will ask in private, "Are you okay?" rather than ignoring it. They will recognize when a joke lands the wrong way, when someone feels excluded, or when there is unspoken conflict. They will not pretend it does not exist. They will gently bring it to the surface and create space for healing. In families, it might mean noticing that your child is withdrawn, not because they are lazy, but because they are overwhelmed. In friendships, it might mean sensing that someone is hurting even if they say they are fine. Emotional intelligence helps you see beneath the surface. And leadership, at its core, is about people, not just tasks, not just goals, but people. People with feelings, fears, hopes, and invisible stories. Leaders who read the room before they move avoid unnecessary damage. They choose timing wisely. They speak in a way that can be received, not just delivered. They adapt their message to the mood. They understand that the same truth, spoken without emotional awareness, can either build someone or break them. And they choose to build. That choice is what makes them leaders worth following. Not because they always know the answer, but because they know the human being in front of them matters more than any strategy. They believe in progress, not perfection. A leader knows that waiting for things to be perfect is just another form of fear. Perfection delays decisions, blocks creativity, and keeps people from taking action. It creates pressure to do everything flawlessly, which often leads to nothing getting done at all. Progress, on the other hand, is about movement. It is about taking the next right step, even if the path is messy. Leaders understand that small improvements repeated over time build real momentum. They do not wait for perfect conditions. They work with what they have and make it better along the way. The pursuit of perfection often leads to burnout. It forces people to hide their mistakes, to overthink every detail, to fear judgment with every step. Leaders who believe in progress make it safe to try. They celebrate effort. They reward learning. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process. When people are not afraid to make mistakes, they take bold steps. They speak up. They experiment. They stretch themselves. That is how innovation happens, not from flawless plans, but from the courage to keep going. Progress is about showing up. Even on hard days, even when motivation is low, even when you do not feel ready, leaders show people that consistency matters more than intensity. One small action taken daily is more powerful than one perfect action taken once. They model that truth with their behavior. They do not disappear when things get tough. They keep moving, even if it is slow, even if no one is watching. They teach others that the goal is not to be perfect, the goal is to grow. Believing in progress means focusing on what is working and building on it. It is easy to look at what is missing, what is broken, what is behind schedule, but leaders look for what is already in motion. They say, this part is strong, let's use it. They look for small wins and build from there. That positive focus lifts morale. It keeps people energized. It reminds teams that they are not starting from zero. They are already on the way. Perfection often isolates. It makes people compete. It creates impossible standards, but progress connects. It invites collaboration. It says, you do not need to be perfect to belong here. You just need to be growing. That mindset builds teams that trust each other. People are more open with their struggles. They ask for help sooner. They share ideas more freely. They stop hiding behind masks of perfection and start building real, honest momentum together. In leadership, the need for perfection can be dangerous. It can slow down decision-making. It can create unrealistic expectations that lead to disappointment. It can cause leaders to stay silent until they have the perfect words, missing the chance to speak truth in the moment. Leaders who choose progress speak even when they feel unsure. They act even when the plan is incomplete. They correct course as they go. That kind of agility keeps people moving forward instead of getting stuck. In families, this mindset creates warmth. Children learn that they do not have to get everything right to be loved. In schools, it creates confidence. Students feel free to ask questions and explore. In workplaces, it creates innovation. Teams try new things without fear of being punished for imperfection. In every setting, believing in progress gives people permission to be human. Perfection tells you that if you are not the best, you are not enough. Progress tells you that every step forward counts. Leaders who believe in progress make it clear that growth is more important than image, that trying is better than pretending, that being in motion is better than being stuck in fear. They do not ask for flawless people. They ask for honest effort, steady improvement, and the willingness to keep going, even when the path is unclear.